taking me places that had just opened up three or 4 months before I got there. I mean, everything is like really building, and everything's brand new. A lot of money's going into these areas that it's pretty remarkable. And I didn't have one bad beer, mead, or cider, or fruit, or any kind of a dish or meal out there. Everything was amazing, and everybody's like really, really talented and passionate out there.
Yeah, there's a lot. Did you make it to Sellerman's?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Okay, so bringing us all the way back around to session meads, what'd you think of their dry sessions? Weren't they the bomb diggity?
I had their Moscow Miel.
Isn't that great? That's one of my favorites.
I loved it. I've that's been on my recipe list on the session mead side of things, and they executed that so well. I had 2 of those while I was there, and what else did I have? Yeah, I had their dry raspberry mead, which was dry raspberry session mead, which was awesome as well.
Oh,
and then Ian obviously took me into the back, and he was just pouring me everything out of the tanks and telling me everything else that was coming out. I mean, those guys, I'm super jealous of them because they just march to the beat of their own drum. I mean, walk into this, like, it looks kind of like you're walking into like a mid-'80s elk lodge.
Doesn't it? I think it was a mid-'80s elk lodge, actually.
And there's heavy metal playing.
And 3 pit bulls were in there when I was there.
They had their German Shepherd there when I was there, and well, not heavy metal, it was death metal.
Death metal,
and everything is like, there's no bottles, there's no nothing. Everything's on draft. You just go there to enjoy what they're creating in the back room, and it was such a cool vibe, man.
But you can get crowlers to take away. Every time I go there, I come away with 2 or 3 crowlers of stuff. I just polished the last of them off the other night.
Yeah, they do have crowlers. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm just super jealous, man. I was talking to Ian. I said, there's no way that I'd be able to do this and survive in New Jersey. It's just talking about the difference in rent cost.
Oh yeah.
Is astronomically different. I mean, Brad has like a 30,000 square foot new facility that they've been moving into slowly. He's paying cheaper rent per month than I am on a 6,300 square foot facility that I'm moving into this winter.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hugely different, yeah. And, I mean, that's the benefit of Detroit, which, well, everybody thinks it's like this, blasted, rundown. Well, it is a little rundown, but that it's like this blasted, horrendously bad place. It's like, but there's so much... There's so much multiculturalism there. I mean, oh my God, we went hunting. We were working on a collab. And so those of you out there who are wondering what the hell I was doing there, we were working on a collab that was loosely based around my grandmother's cherry pie. And so we're like, so how do we get this to be a wheel? So we went on a hunt for malab, which if anybody who's heard me talk about cherry pie mead at all ever, even once, malab's always what comes up. And it's denatured cherry pits. It's used as a spice in a number of Mediterranean countries. And it's they basically they take cherry pits, they crush them, they get the cyanide out of them somehow, and or arsenic or whatever it is. It's in cherry pits, and then they use them. They're very nutty. And when you fling them into a cherry mead, they give it a pie character that I found out purely by accident, just by flinging a handful in there on a whim. And when I made my first cherry melomel. So anyway, Brad and I have talked about this on any number of occasions in the past over a few glasses. And so when I was there, we were like, oh, let's do that. So we went basically rambling all over, and we stopped at this Polish restaurant that was in this little old rundown building. But oh my God, the food! Oh, it was so good. Oh, my God. And, we stuffed ourselves absolutely silly, drank 3 or 4 different kinds of Polish liqueurs, and got a little tipsy, and then went off on a hunt for malab, which we never did actually find. But we found all these great Middle Eastern markets. It had all this other stuff, so there was so much happening there and so many interesting people. It's run down looking. Yeah, it's kind of scary if you're not used to it. But I used to drive all over Detroit when I worked there. It never scared me.
No, it was
Trenton
awesome.
Scares me, but not Detroit.
Forget Trenton. You should drive over to Camden. That's even worse.
Oh God.
But anyway, I had my own like not opinion, but I didn't really know what to expect out there. And when I got there, I was like totally educated just from the experience of being there for a few days. And like I said, it's every new business, every little shop, every little place to eat or bar. I mean, everybody that runs it, and it's nothing but quality quality products and passionate people behind everything. I think that was probably the coolest thing to see, and everybody has like the most pride in where they're from out there that and anywhere else in the U.S. that I've ever been. It was really, really cool.
It's a neat town. I spent like 3 years working there when I was living in Flint, which is where my husband's from. And now Flint really is a blasted, like wasted, not hardly anything left to go see. But
especially
Detroit
now.
Oh God, yeah, it's awful. But Detroit has got there's so much. I mean, Greektown. You go down to Greektown, if you're a foodie, you'll never leave. I mean, never. Yeah. It's scary how good the food is, you know.
Yeah, everywhere you go there is incredible, and it was just really cool to see. I'm actually really looking forward to going back there in another I don't know, like 10 months or so. I'll be out there in the spring, and
okay.
You know, everybody was telling me you're not even going to recognize anything when you come back, just because of the speed, the rate that everything is opening up, and all the money that's being poured into this that city. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, there's a lot going on there, and people don't realize it. So yeah, it's cool. But yeah, for any of you that are listening, if you get the opportunity to go to Detroit, there are Schramm's Mead, Bee Nectar, Sellerman's, Dragon Mead. Help me out, Sergio. Who am I forgetting?
What's Kunin?
Kunin, yeah. Gee, and I interviewed him. Kunin, and he's actually got a couple of new meads coming out, which I can't talk about. He swore me to secrecy. Sorry. And there is a couple other meaderies north of Detroit, but literally there's like 8 or 9 meaderies just in the general Detroit area. And if you get over towards Lansing, there's another 2 or 3. And then if you go all the way to GR on the other side of the state, there's another 4 or 5. And that's just the bottom third of the state.
Yep.
I think Michigan has more meaderies in their state than any other state in the country so far. Right now, they're either number 1 or number 2. Pretty close. New York may have beat them. I don't know. New York's got quite a few going on right now.
Yeah. That was really cool. So one of the sales guys that I was riding with my last day there was, or second to last day, he's like fully tattooed up. I mean, this guy has like tattoos in between his fingers. And I was, he noticed I had a bee tattoo and all that, and I was like, yeah, I've actually been meaning to get my the new Melovino logo tattooed on my arm. And he's like, cool. Oh, really? I know a place. And he's like, I know a place. I can make a phone call. He's like, we got like 2 more appointments before, we did like a Melovino food pairing dinner that same night too.
Oh, nice.
So like before we went to the food pairing dinner, we went to like basically in the middle of Detroit, went into a tattoo shop, got the Melovino logo tattooed on my arm.
You got your new tat in Detroit. Awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, the Melovino M, for Melovino, Mead, and now it also stands for Michigan.
Cool.
Nice. I like it. Yeah, I got several tats lined up that if I ever get the time to sit down and actually have them done. Well, that is really cool. Okay, so Tom, which ones? Where have you been that has been just like out of this world mead?
Oh my gosh. Most of the out of the world mead I've had was actually brought to Mazer Cup. When everybody's just sitting around their room. And I had some of that seaweed mead by Bob and his chocolate salted caramel. Commercial meaderies. Oh my gosh. I haven't traveled as much as you, Vicky.
I'm stuck on chocolate salted caramel. I can't hear anything else.
Yeah, I stopped there too.
I know. Jeannie, my wife, and I went out to dinner, and we had this chocolate salted caramel. Like I don't know, it was a flourless chocolate cake, and we had it with our wine, and all I could think was Bob Slantz's mead was better.
And Bobby's not planning to open a meadery. This is the thing.
Homemade mead.
So
well, Bob says that I need to just be a gypsy mead maker instead of if I'm stressing about trying to find a commercial location and all of this and getting a loan, I should just go and travel from meadery to meadery and just do collaboration batches all over wherever I go, which sounds like a lot of fun. But yeah.
I don't know. I started out to only have one collab on this trip. And that was at Santa Fe, but I ended up doing one with Brad. And I helped pitch a batch at Hidden Legend. And now Michael Falls talking about it, and so is Frank Golbeck. So, golly. Because I'm never going to have a commercial meadery, never. I'm having way too much fun with my other... I've got a role in this industry, and I'm good at it. So I'm going to stick with that.
Well, yeah, exactly, and you have to stick with what you're good at. But like at the UC Davis course, I had the pleasure of having dinner with Ken twice. It just happened, and so like on the second night, he poured his Heart of Darkness, and seriously, that long bottle, I wanted to put my tongue down the bottle to get every last drop, and my tongue is not that long. I mean, I have had dogs that have really long tongues, but I couldn't get that last drop out of that bottle. It was amazing.
Right? You want to just stand it up in the glass and just go away for a little while and wait for that last few drops.
Get the last drop.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then, Mike Fairbrother's really good meads, but I haven't been to his meadery yet. I hope to get out there. I hope to get to your meadery, Sergio, at some point. But, I could get an RV and travel around the country like you do. You have, Vicky.
I'm having fun.
I can't even imagine how much of a blast you must be having.
I'm carrying several. Okay, my
You're
husband.
You're gonna have to take a second trip. You need to come to the Black Hills and see us. Even if we don't have a meadery yet. I mean,
I missed you guys. To come out the entire South Dakota thing. I missed it. We want to do what I want to do is kind of like a mini circle around the Midwest. Like South Dakota and Kansas and Missouri and Nebraska and Colorado and all the middle states that aren't around the edges.
You get down to Colorado, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So I just want to kind of do the states that aren't around the edges and get those. But I'm fortunate.
I'll even put you in a bee suit, and I'll even show you some bees. I've got lots of bees.
I would love to do that.
Yeah. So like this weekend, I was moving bees because I was trying to find a new place to put them, and you got to do it in the dark, and I hate that. I like to get sleep, but in the summer there's a lot of daylight, which is nice, but then when you want to sleep, there's not as much. So I was moving them to a new location in a little higher altitude to try to get some of the white Dutch clover that's blooming in the meadows, because unfortunately our sweet clover flow has dried up, and they just needed nectar. So it's like 5 in the morning, the sun is just rising, and the coffee in it hasn't even kicked in, and I brought these beehives into this location, four-wheeling in there, and it's really bouncy, and then I'm carrying them with my, I don't have a forklift. I just lifting them and putting them down in their spot, and the bottom falls out of one. It wasn't connected, and the bees were pissed, and I'm thinking, oh shit, this is gonna hurt. And of course, they're all flying up and kind of stinging me in my head. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm woke up now. I guess I'll just put this down calmly and then go off and have my cup of coffee. But that's what I do all summer long. I don't make any mead, but I like to drink the mead in the summertime.
Yeah.
Remind me of that story you told me at the Mazer Cup about that cow that would wander off all the time.
Oh, shit. Well, there's a follow-up to the story, too. So, like, the last couple of days, we get all these messages on our voicemail about this cow. There's a bunch of cows running around, and they don't know whose they are. And they come up to our house, and they're like, there's some wild cows running around. We don't know whose they are. And they've got calves, and whose cows are they? And they're like, well, they're not ours. And my wife is there, and she's like, well, no, they're definitely not our cow. And they're like, how do you know? And it's like, well, our cow is in the freezer now. She definitely isn't running anywhere. But so we have this dairy cow that she just liked to run off, and she'd run off, and she wouldn't just run off 100 yards away. She would take off, and you'd have to kind of track her down. And so there's not a lot of roads, but there's gravel roads, and there's like a sort of a gravelly, sandy side. So you'd be driving around in your pickup truck, and you look, and there's cow tracks, and you try to cut her off the next road. You look, do you see the cow tracks? Oh, I don't see them over there, so she must went another direction. And then so I finally tracked her down. And she was on the outside of the fence trying to get into this other herd of cattle, and she just didn't want to be at home, and so I caught her and I tied her up to a post, and I didn't want to go back to the ranch and get our horse trailer and haul her up. I thought, well, she ran out here, so what the heck, she can she can walk back or run back. So I got her, and I was driving back, and I just had her I was leading her outside